Hello and good morning, good evening to all of you out there watching us live. My name is Dr. Pamela Gay, and I am pleased to be bringing you a hangout with the team behind making sure that 365 Days of Astronomy is a show that happens every single day. For those of you who don't know, our show is directed, managed, overseen, choose whatever word you want, by the wonderful Avivah Yamani, who comes to us from Monday morning in Indonesia. And the show is produced day after day by Richard Drumm, who handles all of our audio and video editing from here in the United States out on the East Coast. And we have an awesome year planned that we wanted to share a little bit with you tonight, tomorrow, whenever you are. Avivah, why don't you go ahead and get started and give an introduction to everything that we're up to.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good night, everybody. I'm Avivah from 365 Days of Astronomy. I'm in Indonesia right now. As we know that 2014 will be and in like 1 or 2 days.
2015. So, we have to learn to say a new number now.
Yeah, I know. So we're heading up to 2015, and we have so many plans for 2015, especially that we will celebrate the International Year of Light. IAU will also celebrate the International Year of Light with the theme of Cosmic Light, as light is the central of everything in astronomy. So we hope that in 2015 we will have more and more topic in light, not only light pollution, but light as a whole in astronomy. So for starting, we will have our regular podcaster. They will be back in 2015 for Awesome Astronomy, and then Southern Sky Guide, Observing with Webb, Cosmic Letters, the Apogee podcast, and then we have Rob Sparks from NOAO, of course, Globe at Night, Nancy Alima Ali for Cultural Astronomy. We have Samir Durde from India, and then a new podcaster, Shaila Akhtar from Australia. And we, unfortunately, Morgan will stop his monthly roundup, but he said he will have a new series for 365 Days of Astronomy in 2015. We will also have Astronomy Cast, Weekly Space Hangout. I hope Learning Space will continue.
It is.
ICE, and then Space Scoop, Astronomy Folklore, and Question and Answer. That's the regular podcast for next year, but we do hope we will have more and more podcaster and also new topic for 365 Days of Astronomy. Well, we need them.
and this show is not just our chance to tell you what all we have planned for 2015, who our returning community podcasters are, but also our invitation to you to please come and join us as we work to bring astronomy to the globe. And if you didn't know, those names that you're hearing for podcasters, they span Europe, the Americas, Australia. We've had podcasters from Asia. I'm not sure what continent Indonesia counts as. It's
we
true.
Have India. We have India. We have Indonesia. We need more from Asia, actually.
We do, and we have yet to get someone to podcast from Antarctica in all the years that we've been doing this. That's my one personal sadness. But this is a podcast that's been downloaded nearly 8 million times since we launched, and we missed one day. I discovered while doing the statistics, we apparently had a system glitch, but in all the years we've been doing this, we only accidentally missed that one day. And we started as part of the International Year of Astronomy back in 2009. And at that point, our goal was just to spend that 1 year trying to reach out and help people communicate their passion for astronomy. And when we hit the end of the year, what we found was people's passion couldn't be confined to just one set of 365 days. And so we've had to kind of keep going. And it's been an amazing experience. And it's
Pamela,
awesome to see the same names. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot our regular podcaster from 2009, Chief Astronomy, Steve Nerley from Australia. I'm really sorry about that.
So we've had Steve Nerlich with us since the beginning. Alice's Astro Info has been there throughout a lot of that, and we're hoping that she'll be continuing into the new year. We're still setting up dates for everybody. And I'd love to know, as you guys have listened to show after show, year after year, what have been your favorite topics so far?
For me, I really like the one from Australia. It's from from Susan and her son about the stars. It's from Kids Astronomy actually, and he's the podcast by children, so I like it. I really like that one.
That's cool. What about you, Richard?
Well, I rather like the weekly space hangout ones. They get a lot of viewers.
Yes.
So I have to admit, I have one all-time favorite episode that actually comes from 2009 and has never been beat by any one single episode. And this is one that Mike Simonson did. He was at the AAVSO, and it talked about how when he was a little kid, he and his friends decided to try and simulate an Apollo spacecraft launch and all of that stuff by going up into their attic and living out lives as astronauts in the summer during summer break. And they decided, like astronauts, they would have a space toilet, and it got rather hot and stinky in the attic, and while trying to remove their astronaut waste, they ended up breaking the garbage bag on the floor, and it realized that it wasn't necessarily sexy and glamorous to be astronauts.
I remember that one now.
It was just so strange, and we all did stupid things as kids, and that one was perhaps one of the most awesome yet stupid things I have ever heard.
I remember now that I think about it, and now that I've cheated and pulled up a little list I made yesterday, when I was editing the April 4 365 episode, it's the one with Dr. Alan Stern, and he was talking about Uwingu, and while I was editing it, I stopped the edit and went, oh, I'm going to go over and do that, and I went over and took the names out on three Mars craters while I was. And then after I was done, I went back to the edit and picked up where I left off.
What about you, Avivah? Do you have any specific one moment that stands out?
Not really, but I always love when people send their podcast and then share their their moment with astronomy. I'm still looking for the one I really like. It's like, as far as I know, it's from January 2013. We have one specific podcast that I'm sorry, I forgot her name, but she said that she shared how astronomy and a meeting with someone impact her life and makes her love science. It's really, really inspiring.
And that's one of the things that's made 365 Days of Astronomy so awesome to get to produce across all of these years, is this is a community podcast where we're here as, in my case, I'm the person that keeps the computers going and does the layout and WordPress design and stuff and things. I move ones and zeros. And Avivah's the person that organizes all of the humans and makes sure the content is there and reaches out to the creative people. And then Richard's the person that gets all of the waveforms and moving pictures to line up and come to you via either your podcatcher or YouTube. And as we do this, we get to hear all of these different stories that range from little kids talking about the things that excite them to adults talking about their native folklore to people being interviewed about the newest research discoveries that they're making to we've carried science fiction stories and we've carried news stories and everything in between. And the names of the people who've been involved have ranged from science fiction writers to scientists to just moms and their kids loving astronomy together. And that range and experience that comes to this from people coming at it not from their professional perspective, but just from their personal passion to the greatest names in the profession. We've had on astronauts and everyone else. It's been amazing to hear all of these voices sharing their stories, and we're hoping that you'll find your story to share as well. And Avivah, how can people get involved if they want to become podcasters?
Okay, they can. Of course, they need to register themselves. So they need to go to 365 Days of Astronomy website. We have how to join in there. You can find the page in the right sidebar, and then you can email us at info@365daysofastronomy.org, and you can also choose your own specific date if you want to have podcasts in like. If you want a regular podcast, you can choose like maybe the first week, the first Saturday every week. Okay, it's not available actually the first Saturday every week, every month. It's for observing with web. But I mean, you can choose a specific day in every month, and then if you want to just send your podcast once in 2 months or maybe every week, you can choose one day that you like, or maybe your birthday or your engagement day or your wedding day or anything, and then if it's available, you can have it, and you can send us the podcast through the share file. I will send the upload link, of course, every 5 days before your podcast.
And
so, yes.
And the thing about this is we try and make it so that anyone can participate. You can record your audio on a portable audio recorder via your computer, although please don't use your computer microphone because then we get to hear your computer's fan, and that's really unpleasant. But you can see Avivah right now, she's just using her headset mic, and that works just fine for a lot of what we do. And Richard and I are both microphone snobs and have fancy equipment, but you don't have to do that. And we're open to a whole lot of different formats. At a minimum, we'd love it if you would put together a 10-minute piece of audio that just says what's important to you, tells a story, shares a bit of science. But we also produce lots of 1-hour pieces as Hangouts on Air, the weekly space hangout. We're going to be starting a new series called Inspiring Science Education that is part of the Galileo Teacher Training Program and Open Discovery Science. And these programs we produce in 2 different ways. First of all, people typically now have their own YouTube channel. And just like this particular Hangout is coming to you from the 365 Days of Astronomy Google Plus page, and we'll go into that matching YouTube channel, things like Learning Space, Astronomy Cast, Inspiring Science Education, all of these programs go to their own YouTube channel. But then we link them into playlists on our 365 Days of Astronomy channel so that you get extra promotion while keeping all of your own statistics. And then we take the audio from those shows and we use the audio in 365 to help you increase your audience. And most of our episodes go out to about 6,000 people, which for a daily show is actually pretty good. So Richard, you get to hear all sorts of different things. What are the most unexpected things that you've heard while editing shows together?
Well, I've heard some dogs barking and
That's not unexpected.
and
Raining.
aircraft passing over. I try to cut it anytime anybody sniffles or coughs. I edit that stuff out. Um,
But more from the story perspective or the
yeah,
unexpected thing coming into the show.
I'm drawing a blank, which is unusual, I'm sure, but I can't remember. Mm. I'll have to think about that for a minute. Talk amongst yourselves.
Has it maybe gotten to the point that we've done so many shows for so many years that it's hard to surprise you?
It's a blur, yeah. Um, yeah, I do remember there some actually probably 2 or 3 years ago now there was a little boy who recorded a show. I rather like that. It was surprising, but he knew what he was talking about.
Well, lots of little kids actually somehow know way more astronomy than adults. And I wish I knew where all the astronomy knowledge goes between age 5 and age 15, because somewhere there's this like academic black hole that sucks out all knowledge about planets and dinosaurs. Because I know when I was 5, I knew the names of all the dinosaurs. And while they've changed all the names of the dinosaurs since I was 5, I don't even remember what I knew when I was 5. So somewhere all of that knowledge goes away, and it's really amazing to get to hear what the kids have to say.
One thing that those of you out there who can, if you want to record your own podcast, you've probably got one of these digital audio recorders in your pocket.
And for those of you listening to this, he just held up his iPhone.
Oh, right, true.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you can get some free apps that can do recording, and then just send those to us. It'll work just fine.
And it's actually easy to do multiple takes and edit audio on either an iPhone or an iPad. I haven't tried to do it on an Android device, but I know that there's really nice recording apps on the Android as well. And it's easy to get involved. The software that we'd ask you to use is free. We provide all of the file transfer services. And the content, of course, is completely free to consume. Everything we do is under a Creative Commons license. It's open for you to use, open for you to share. And our goal is to make it easy for astronomy to be learned by people absolutely anywhere with any type of interest. So if they're interested in kids' stories, we have kids' stories. If they're interested in the latest news, we have the latest news. We package it all up together in our own very slow talk radio format, where we only release a little bit each day, but we have a little bit of everything for everyone. And what we do is made possible through the donations of an amazing community of corporations and mostly people that dollar by dollar, euro by euro, yen by yen, it takes a lot more yens than dollars to add up, but bit by bit, they make this show possible. And Richard, I know, records a lot of our sponsorship messages for us. And the way this works is if you donate $45, that gets you a short sponsorship message, just like you might hear on National Public Radio if you're here in the United States, that says something like, today's episode of 365 Days of Astronomy is sponsored by Fred and his pet chicken, and they'd like to remind you that chickens like astronomy too. And I'm just making this stuff up, but those are the types of messages that we've had along the years. And we record these messages for you as a shout out of thanks for your donation. You can also reserve a spot at the end of the episode, and details on all of this can again be found on our 365 Days of Astronomy website. And we're actually getting ready to do a major overhaul of that website. You want to tell the audience a little bit about that, Avivah?
Yes. One thing that you will find in 365 Days of Astronomy webpage starting January 1st, actually you can find it now, but I prefer to say that starting January 1st, we will have a spatial page for all our regular podcasters. So if you want to find them, you don't need to to find the tag for example, Southern Sky Sky Guide in the tag in sidebar, but you can find Alice Astro Info page in the sidebar. So you can meet our podcaster. It's a special page that we will have in 2015.
And we're going to be working to highlight.
Yeah,
we're going to be working to highlight our weekly podcasters by adding at the top of the page
I forgot that.
5 of that week's podcasters as special highlights, because they're the ones that make this show happen. So if your content is going to be heard on the first Saturday of the month, hi web, then you'll be highlighted on our page all of that first week of the month. So we're working to make our website something that does a better job at promoting all of these amazing people who contribute to the show. When we put our site together, we put it together thinking we just want to get the podcast out there. And this is the first major overhaul we've done since we started. And Avivah and I spent a lot of time figuring out what are all the things that we wish that we'd had all along the way. And she's done a lot of the hard work, and I've worked on moving ones and zeros to make it happen.
One more thing, Pamela. The video, if you have a YouTube video and then the audio used in 365, we will also feature the video in 365 Days of Astronomy post. So if for all this time I just put the link, now I will embed the video so people can listen to your audio, and then they can also watch for the video. And everything from Astronomy Cast, Learning Space, and Weekly Space Hangout is all video is in 365 now.
Wow.
So you can find everything there. You don't need to go to YouTube, I guess.
That's awesome. I got through about 6 months of embedding things, and I know how long that took me, and I left you with 1.5 years to do. So
no worries, it's easy.
I work with awesome people. What can I say?
One more thing, Pamela. I want to highlight that from all our podcasts, Astronomy Cast and Weekly Space Hangout receive a huge listener. They are the highest statistic for us, but people really like something like a space scope or a space story. So even folklore, I have thousands downloads. So I mean more than 1,000, of course, thousands. So I really hope per episode. So I really hope that for those who always ask me what I have to say in 365 Days of Astronomy, what kind of astronomy, everything, just like Pamela say you can have everything, even folklore, even something that related to your culture and science, just you can share it. So any topic are welcome.
The only thing we do request is that you keep it kid safe, because we do have a lot of kids out there listening. There's this brilliant little child in New Zealand, Cullum, who we've had join us and ask questions on air several times. And so be aware of the small, awesome, innocent little ears, or maybe not innocent, but let's pretend little ears out there listening. So be passionate, be scientific, be authentic, and say things that your national TV station would allow on for kids on a Saturday morning.
For International Year of Light, I think I received a few emails asking me that if 365 days will celebrate IYL, is it means that all the topic will be the light pollution and dark skies issues. But I think International Year of Light is not all about the light pollution only. So maybe Pamela, you can share the Cosmic Light story with us.
So with Cosmic Light, we're doing a variety of different projects, and Avivah and I are both part of working on the Cosmic Light Cornerstone. And internationally, what will be happening is there's going to be educational kits that are distributed, and we're also going to be doing part of the Inspiring Science Education series is to promote astronomy education to teachers around the world using Google Hangouts on air. We're going to be working our way through major topics that help everyone get a deeper understanding of the science of astronomy. And if you think about it, everything we know about astronomy that isn't on our planet, we know because of light. This includes everything we learn from spacecraft orbiting other planets, because the signals they send back to us, those radio waves, that's just a color of light. So when we study planets, we're studying reflected starlight, reflected sunlight. When we look at stars, we're looking at all the colors of light in the electromagnetic spectrum. When we measure gravitational lenses, the force of gravity bending light, well, we see that because of light. We even measure dark matter and dark energy by looking at their effects on things that give off light. So everything we know about astronomy, one way or another, if it's something that we learned not on our own planet, we know about it because of light. And even the stuff here on our planet, it's hard to say that we don't know about because of light, because we have equipment that we have to read the readouts on. So that's kind of a stretch, that's kind of a technicality, but let's face it, at the end of the day, astronomy is made possible because of light. Occasionally light makes it harder because of light pollution, but let's not celebrate that. Let's celebrate all the good parts of light.
Yeah, because I think just like Richard said to me today, this morning actually, that there's, I mean, the light is not only about the reducing light, but I think all the, what is it in English? Those who produce the lamp also celebrate the IWA. I don't know how to do that.
Light makers are also celebrating internationally. Yes, people who make light fixtures and light bulbs and optics and.
Yeah, the only way we get to study astronomy without using light per se is when we can grip it in our hands, stuff like this. Yeah.
And that's the planetary resources rock, isn't it?
It is, yes.
That's awesome. That is a rock that Planetary Resources donated in thanks for a lot of different awesome, and we love Planetary Resources. So we haven't really had any comments come in from those of you out listening live. I see Nathaniel Sanchez and Nancy Graziano saying hi, and I say hi back. And Tom Nathy just sadly pointed out that at age 107, the last radium girl, that's an older scientific project, just passed away. And so science just got a little bit fainter tonight. But if you are out there and you do have any questions and you're watching this live, you should see a Q&A app link on your browser window, and we are happy to take questions. And taking questions in general is something that 365 Days of Astronomy does, and it's Richard Drumm, the astronomy bum, who not only produces our show, but also answers your questions as part of the question and answer show. And you want to tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, Richard?
Well, whenever we have come up with a question, I have to stretch a bit because I don't have a degree. I have to do a lot of research in order to answer a question and not look like a dope. But if I can in any way, I'll answer the question. If not, I'll find someone who can. Pamela or one of the people at University of Virginia or National Radio Astronomy Observatory. I've got quite a few friends here locally who can answer questions with actual expertise.
And that's one of the awesome things about science is you sometimes hit points where even I have to say, I have no idea. And sometimes Google doesn't save me. Sometimes searching through the astronomical literature isn't useful because I'm not using the right keywords. But there's always someone out there smarter to be found or who's at least read more things. And we're pretty good about saying we'll figure that out and finding the content to bring it to you. So we've been going for about 30 minutes now, and I'm wondering what closing thoughts do you have for our audience as we get ready for the new world, as we get ready for the new website and the new year and the new International Year of Light? What thoughts do you want to leave our audience with, Avivah?
Well, let's have a new spirit for 2015, and I really hope that 2015, the new spirit will bring you all to share astronomy to the world, even though it's a story or science fictions or anything, or even your final project, you can share it with all the people in the world. I really, really invite you now to be our podcaster in 2015. It's it's a closing or not?
Excellent. Richard, what would you like to leave the audience with?
I've got a question for you two ladies. What are you looking forward to that's going to happen in 2015? I'm looking forward to Ceres myself, Dwarf Planet Ceres.
I have to
And the
admit,
Dawn Project is going to be awesome.
yeah, we've gotten to work very closely with the Dawn mission over the years. CosmoQuest, which is the parent partner for 365, does citizen science with Vesta mappers. We invite all of you to help us map out this little rock, and we're going to get to play on another giant asteroid, and this one formed beyond the water line in our solar system, which means it may have ice and water, and that's all kinds of awesome. What about you, Avivah? What are you looking forward to?
Well, as for as for the astronomy in particular, I really hope that next year I'm going to several places in Indonesia and share astronomy, and then prepare our 2016 total eclipse, which is me and my group will go to the East Indonesia, so we can share astronomy to the public there. It's like a part of Indonesia that never knows about astronomy, and they have not really much access to. I mean, they have access to education, but not like the people in my island here in Java, which is the center for everything. But for 365 days of astronomy itself, I'm thinking of having a new series of myself. I have a few books that I need to read, so I hope that it will inspire me to do a new series for 365 days of astronomy. And I think Richard will also have a new series for himself.
Now, Nancy Graziano asks, what topic hasn't been covered that you'd like to see as subject for a podcast? For me, it's Antarctica. I want someone to podcast about astronomy in Antarctica from Antarctica.
Not just from Antarctica. I think we have, I don't think we really have podcasters from China.
Yeah, that's true.
Korea. Last August, when I went to a Asia Pacific Regional IAU meeting, I met young people in Korea who always listen to our podcast in 365 Days of Astronomy. They said that they want to do the podcast, but they always not afraid, but they they said that how about the English and everything. But I think it's not something that become an obstacle for them because they have a good English. So I still try to email them and encourage them to join us because we don't really have someone from Korea right now.
I think that's an excellent point. What about you, Richard? What podcast would you love to hear that you haven't yet?
Well, I'm trying to rope someone from NRAO, National Radio Astronomy Observatory, into doing a podcast with me of a recurring series segment for 365, and maybe we'll, if we can, we'll take over the monthly news roundup. We'll see.
That would be awesome, and I can actually think of a couple of women there that would be awesome to rope in.
You know who I'm talking about.
I do. And Sue Heatherly, both of them are awesome. So before we start volunteering more people who aren't watching us live, this has been an excellent 35 minutes, and all of you out there listening to us on New Year's, this was pre-recorded, and I'm going to take this night that's several nights early to say Happy New Year's and welcome to 2015 from all of us at CosmoQuest and 365 Days of Astronomy.
And since I'm going to be the first one to celebrate the New Year, I'm going to say Happy New Year, and I hope 2015 will be a great year for us as 365 days come. 365 days started in International Year of Astronomy. Now we're heading off International Year of Light. That's going to be awesome. So join us. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes. Happy New Year, everybody.
Bye-bye.